This is a James Poeartistry Consultant Moment, and this is a James Poeartistry Consultant Moment. Today, I'd like to remind you to never believe the hype of what others may be placing upon you at times, or don't, you can always appreciate a compliment. And that's what, I tell you to do. You can appreciate a compliment. And the thing about it is, even a compliment that's said to you, sincerely said to you, guess what? It's most likely true. So here is what I mean when I said don't believe the hype. The whole point is, let's say you are good at a whole bunch of stuff, but I want to use math in particular. Or specifically, why? Because when a person knows how to do math, they know how to do math. So I know if I go to you and I say, hey, can you go ahead and be my accountant or what have you, or, something of that nature. And you, boy, have those pennies down to the hey penny, to use that expression, all accounted for. Just know you have it done. And so here is my thought. Some of these thoughts will come out my mind that, let me tell you, this person is so good. They were around when the universe was born. You see what I'm saying? Because God needed their figuring out the equations to get everything done and the formula. See, a compliment like that would be given to a person at times. I might even give it to you. And so, in that form of even maybe hyperbole in a sense, I'm telling you, you got your stuff together. I have confidence in you and things of that nature. And no one can argue with that. You see what I'm saying? So what do I mean then about don't believe the hype? Well, with that knowledge you have in advanced math and things of that nature, you never wanted to go to the point then there's a form of elitism that can come over the mind, is considered like puffed up with pride. So the whole point is, even though you have that ability, that high ability, from that you can do this and you can do that, you can do it. You see, you can take care of all of these books, accountants, and anything that deals with, accuracy of numbers and calculation. And yet, with all of that, we remember to not be so enamored with the compliments that are, earned, if you want to say. They're valid, no mistake about it, that then we look down on someone who may not have the same skill set on that level, you see. And that's what it means, where sometimes people say, well, you know what? You may start thinking more of yourself. I'm just telling you, this is what we protect ourselves against, our minds and our hearts against. So it doesn't mean you have to walk around acting like you don't know how to do something that you do know how to do. You see what I'm talking about? And yet at the same time, you don't want to let your skills and your abilities to look down upon persons who may not be on your level either. I hope that makes sense to you, perceptive readers. And so I'm saying this as a form of affirmations because, I tell you every day in your affirmations that you thank God for another day of life and say something about your growth and your love for him. Maybe because of something that he's helped you with over the past day, even beyond just waking you up in the morning. But then what else do I tell you to do? I tell you to make sure you say something great or loving about yourself as well. There is something you can say about yourself. You see what I'm saying? Without feeling guilty that you said something wonderful or loving about yourself. We do not, as the scriptures would say, think of ourselves more than necessary. And yet that doesn't mean that we tear down ourselves. You see what I'm saying? In order to say that we're humble. We do not accept other people trying to tear us down in order to prove that we're humble. You see what I'm talking about? It doesn't mean that you cannot take constructive criticism either. You see what I'm saying? But remember this, and this may be more of my opinion. You know, what some people find out sometimes, and I found out from it. You see, it's something about love. It's something about sincerity. It's something about, the person has your best interest at heart, where you can actually, take constructive criticism because it's totally coming from a well-meaning place. And then that's what I really would say is constructive criticism when it's coming from a person who knows you, who loves you. You see what I'm saying? It's a little bit more to it, but I'm talking about, in general, people who we would ask advice for. And then you have the criticism that comes from other areas, bullies and stuff like that, where you already know you're going to have to take it with a grain of salt, if at all. Sometimes even if it's accurate. Why? Because of the place that it's coming from in the first place. Now, one thing I admit, humility, again, helps us to sometimes just entertain, so to speak, certain types of statements and speeches against us or what have you. And yet, see, this is getting into my own conscience and in my humble opinion, if you will. I tell you what, depending on the situation you're in, if already you're being bombarded for this reason or that reason or what have you, there is still a Bible principle that I go along with. It's better to be a live dog than a dead lion. And so what do I mean by that? It's better to be, if you can want to do the best you can, you see what I'm saying, to be as loving as you can, to put up with as much stuff as you as you can, or your personality will allow you. But I tell you what, if you're getting to the point where you're being torn down, you feel you're being torn down, you see what I'm saying? It is better for you to take your leave, take your space, or what have you, and let somebody just talk about you that, hey, a person don't even want to take my advice or whatever. It is better for you to keep your soundness of mind, to be able to try again another day, than to end up staying in that situation and a full-blown fire breaks out, so to speak. You see what I'm saying, of altercations. So that's just a thought. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you for being here, and take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.